we do this every year, right? The NBA season wraps up. We have nothing better to talk about, so we resort to NBA all-time discussions. Now, Bleacher Report's currently in the hot seat for that trash list. Whatever, right? I want to talk about something a little bit different, and that is Steph Curry and Magic Johnson. These two undoubtedly are top 10 to 12 players of all time, without question, in my eyes. But when you're looking at them in the context of being top 10 to 12 players of all time and being critical in that thought process, for my money, these two have the most noticeable and biggest flaws in their game out of anybody else who's regarded of that ilk, right? Who's in that caliber, right? You got both of these guys who struggled on the defensive end of the court throughout their career. Steph Curry getting pulled out of games late because they wanted to go with more defensive lineups. Magic Johnson being a more slow-footed guy, though he didn't play in an era where you capitalized on it as much, just was never a great perimeter defender. And then you add on to the fact that Magic Johnson wasn't a great shooter at any point of his career and was pretty streaky in that regard, right? So you put those two things together, and I don't think anybody else who's considered the same caliber as these guys has the same flaws as them. Sure, everybody has flaws. Everybody has areas where they lack. But just from a skill perspective, I don't think anybody else has the magnitude of flaws as them, right? Most guys can defend, most guys could score, most guys could pass, most guys could do everything, right? And it was very hard to pick at their weaknesses. Now, with that being said, and that brings up a unique conversation, because while these guys had the most noticeable flaws, I also think these two probably had the highest singular skill out of anybody else ever. So you got Steph Curry, obviously the best shooter ever. I don't think that's no surprise to anybody, right? Everybody thinks that at this point. And then Magic Johnson, I think, is the best passer playmaker of all time as well. And not just the best ever, but two extremely elite guys in what they do best. So much so that they've been able to separate themselves and make their flaws not matter that much, right? That's highly impressive, right? When you could be a poor defender or a not great defender in parts of your career, but still just have such a profound impact on the game that you are still considered a top 10 player of all time. That's special to me. That's insane. That's really crazy to think about when you put it in that perspective. So the reason I bring it up is just to ask you guys, when you're thinking about all-time debates and you have to be critical of guys if you're being fair, how do you begin to break that down? Because on one hand, both of these guys are great. Both of these guys did so many good things, and because of this one unique singular ability, they were able to take their careers to heights that no one probably could have imagined when they came into the NBA. But on the flip side of that, when you're rating them against other players, right, most of the players of their ilk are two-way players who had a high impact on the game on both sides of the ball. So just wanted to bring this to you guys and ask you guys how you rank that, because I think it's special what they were able to accomplish with the flaws that they had, but I also think you have to be nuanced in these debates. You have to be able to be critical, and I think it's fair to criticize these guys for being below average defenders for the most part, and Magic's case being a below average shooter as well. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.